All right, we are back with the We Are LA Tech Lab show. We have the last interview of the day. One of my favorite entrepreneurs in LA, Marty, who is the co-founder of Lockaware, trying to save the world from lock bandits, I should say. He'll tell you more about Lockaware and his journey being an entrepreneur. And he's just a very supportive guy. He is, in a lot of ways, he's like a We Are LA Tech evangelist. So I'm really grateful for Marty. Marty, tell us about Lockaware and your story.
Okay, so
where are you based first? Where in LA are you based?
We are based actually in the Stubbs, Alderson, and Markley's pre-accelerator program. Here's the wall of our cohort companies behind me.
Awesome.
Yes, so we're on the 3rd Street Promenade, 3rd and Broadway.
In Santa Monica. Sweet.
In Santa Monica, yeah, Silicon Beach.
Welcome, Shri, yes. I hope I'm saying your name right. So Marty, tell us your story.
Okay, so a couple years ago, I was living overseas with my best friend. We were living at a undisclosed location in the Middle East, doing cool stuff. And I got an internship working at a company that was doing really cool stuff, but they couldn't afford to hire me. And the founder of that company got me a job working at a call center that was hiring English speakers and they're always hiring English speakers.
And you can't say where in the Middle East this was.
Okay, I guess I can say.
Cover.
It was in let's say Dubai, Qatar, or something like that.
Okay.
Somewhere. So yeah, I heard this call
sound like Area 51.
And basically they said, okay, here you have a computer, you have two phones, one on the other side of the computer. Throughout your entire shift, the phones are going to be ringing, and it's Americans who need locksmiths. And that's why we're hiring you, because you're American, you speak perfect English. I'm like, okay,
right.
Sounds interesting. People are calling the Middle East for locksmiths, but whatever. So I started working there, and people started calling back after we had sent out locksmiths to them and complaining about the fact that the locksmiths had charged them too much money or took too long to get there or were in a variety of ways unethical.
Right.
So one day I went home and I Googled locksmith scam, and it opened my eyes. I realized that this was a major, massive problem in America. And what we've come to find today is that about 7 in 10 locksmiths on the internet are fake. And they're actually they're ads and phone numbers that all go back to these lead generation companies located in the Middle East and also in the Dominican Republic.
Let's repeat that real quick. 7 to 10. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 locksmiths, quote unquote, locksmiths online are fake. If you go on Google and you Google locksmith Los Angeles, locksmith Denver, whatever. If you Google locksmiths in your given area and you click the ads on Google and you click the ads on Yelp, a lot of them are fake. And it's very, very hard to tell who real locksmiths are and who fake locksmiths are, because they answer the phone much the same way. Locksmith, how can I help you? So it's virtually impossible for the layperson to tell whether they're talking to a real locksmith or a fake locksmith. But I know from working actually for the bad guys that the majority of calls, the majority of the 250,000 emergency calls for locksmith service in America each day go to the bad guys.
That's great. 250,000 every day go to bad guys.
Right.
Like so, 250,000. That's a crazy amount of people.
So basically, these bad guys, what they do is they'll tell you that they can be at your place in 15 to 20 minutes. They'll tell you that it's $15 for them to come out or $19, something that's very cheap. Right. If you manage to contact a real locksmith, they'll tell you that it's $50 to $70 for them to just drive out to you. And that's what it costs for a skilled laborer to drive their van, which weighs tons and tons because of all the heavy locksmith equipment in it, out to you. The scammers will show up in a Scion or something, generally 50 minutes.
I drive a Scion. Uh-oh.
I know, that's why I said it. Scammers will show up in a Scion, always. They're always driving Scions. 15, they'll take much longer than 15 minutes, usually an hour, hour and a half to get to you. And then once they show up, they'll pretend to pick your lock for a couple minutes, which is what a real locksmith would do.
No.
Yeah, they'll pretend to do it for a couple minutes, and then they'll say that they can't do it, and they'll blame it on your lock, or they'll blame it on you. They'll tell you that you haven't maintained your lock properly.
No. And you're stuck paying this?
Well, here's the thing. what they're doing is illegal. It's fraud. It's bait and switch. So realistically, you could tell them to screw off and leave, and you can call another locksmith. But then the next locksmith is going to tell you it's 45 minutes for them to show up. And we're blessed in LA with our weather. But if you're in Ohio and it's minus 16 outside and you've locked yourself out of your house, it's 7 a.m. and you need to get to work, it's cold. When that person shows up and they tell you whatever they tell you, you're going to say, all right, just do whatever it takes to get me back inside. So these guys can't pick your lock because they're not actual locksmiths. That's a skill that they don't have because they haven't mastered it. But what they can do is they can drill your locks out, thus destroying them. And then they can use a screwdriver or literally anything else once your lock has been destroyed to open your house and get you back in so you can get your car keys and go to work or do whatever you want to do. So
shady locksmiths pretend they fix your car, don't fix your car, but they know how to drill and mess up your car. So now your car is screwed, but because you're in Ohio in like below 16-degree weather, you're like, well, at least I got in my car. And you didn't know the whole time that the person was shady anyway. You didn't even know you were being taken.
Exactly. So
that's nuts.
The locksmith scam is it's a little part of the big problem. And the big problem is 3 generations of all Americans being pushed into college. Declining enrollments in trade and vocational schools.
Right.
In fact, I actually a couple months ago, I called around to all the locksmith training schools that are on the industry association websites, and I found out that out of the 20 listed, only about 10 of them still offer locksmith classes. A lot of the other ones are closed down or they've canceled their locksmith training programs because no one's enrolling in the classes.
Right.
So scammers today dominate 60% of the market, but in a couple of years they could dominate 90% of the market when the old locksmiths retire. So in addition to Lockaware, we're also working on a nonprofit concept to engage U.S. combat veterans who are transitioning to American life and also to civilian life.
Marty, this is so cool.
Yeah, we're working on a lot of stuff. We want to solve the 2 biggest problems facing the locksmith industry. 1 being lack of young people entering the trade, and 2 being scammers and bad actors taking all the jobs and causing a lot of confusion for other locksmiths.
So cool. And how do you, by the way, Marty, you asked for 30, and we have 30 amazing people sharing in this conversation with us right now.
Awesome.
Now, how do you go about even marketing to let the world know that Lockaware exists? Because no matter how great you are, the hardest part is, my mom always says half of the world is looking for the other half of the world, but they don't know how to find them. So how do people find you?
So right now we're not doing any marketing. We're still building up our tech. We're still building up our network of locksmiths. We're still building up our marketing plan. We're still very much in the startup phase. But we have a lot of ideas about how we're going to get noticed. I mean, we have pie in the sky ideas, like doing a show or something like called To Catch a Scammer with NBC. They did a show called To Catch a Predator that became one of the most popular shows on TV for a while. And actually, they've covered.
Dude, you're gonna have a show where you catch all these shady locksmiths like ripping people off, and then you're like, gotcha.
Yep. So Adam Carolla is already doing it. It's called To Catch a Contractor. And
To Catch a Contract. This is amazing.
Yeah. So they basically have people like homeowners that contractors have screwed over. They call in Adam Carolla and his crew, and they set up the house, and they make it seem like a new client is interested in that contractor services. Yeah. And you come over to the prospective new client's house. It's actually a wired house with cameras, and then they raid them.
Wow.
So that sort of thing.
And now Lockaware, just to be really clear, like what I mean, I know the purpose that Lockaware, why it exists, it's to save people from shady locksmiths. Yeah. But like, what is it exactly? Like, how does it save people from shady locksmiths?
Yeah. So right now it's not there yet, but what we envision is a platform similar to Airbnb or Uber, basically where we're the trusted third party. And you don't necessarily need to access us via a web portal or an app. We want to have it set up much like Rinse. I don't know if anyone in here has Rinse for dry cleaning, but they're live in LA and they're awesome.
Describe what Rinse is real quick for everybody. And welcome to you 39 amazing people tuning in, watching our conversation right now. 42, what? Sorry for the jump. 42 awesome friends that we have. Tell us what Rinse is.
Okay, so Rinse, I hope they're going to pay me for this retrospectively, is a dry cleaning on-demand company. startup from San Francisco. They just launched in LA this year, and they pick up and drop off your dry cleaning and or wash and fold laundry in the evening between 8 and 10 p.m. So it's really convenient, and their customer service and user interface is great. They mostly communicate with you through SMS, which I think is kind of the way things are going to be going, trending as time goes on. So we basically want people to be able to request a safe and trusted locksmith simply by texting us. The number one way to avoid locksmith fraud is to have the phone number of a trusted local locksmith in your phone before a vulnerable event occurs.
Then how do you know?
Right. So that's the thing. So if you Google locksmith scam or type it into YouTube, you'll see that the media has covered this extensively, right? They've done To Catch a Locksmith Stings. The Today Show has done this twice since 2011, most recently last December, where they set up a house with cameras and have their producer pose as someone locked out and catch the scammers, basically. And at the end of these segments, the media always tells you to do the same thing. They tell you, the consumer, to find a safe locksmith in your neighborhood before a lockout occurs. But the thing is, we're all very busy in our lives, and we're not thinking about lockouts before they occur. And you're telling people to do their homework and to try and figure out the good guys from the bad guys, which I've already explained earlier in this conversation, is something that's very hard for most people to do. Most people don't know anything about locks or how to vet locksmith companies or what to ask for.
Right.
So we're doing that work for you. And we're basically doing it to a greater extent than Angie's List and some of the other options out there have done. We actually found out on a call with an Angie's List representative that they have 64,000 registered locksmiths on Angie's List, which is a problem because the U.S. Census has only identified about 33,000 locksmiths in America. So that said, there are potentially around 31,000 fake locksmiths on Angie's List. They're on Yelp. We have a question that came in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You see it. Here, we'll do this.
How
are you going to get people to find? Oh, go ahead, Marty.
How will we get people to find us in the moment when they're locked out? So the best way to do that is to eventually rank at the top of Google. And we have meetings with people at Google. We really want to figure out how we can, get our rank up there. There's kind of an issue right now with Google because actually the locksmiths have been trying to sue them. And have actually tried to drag them into a RICO case because they feel that Google and Yellow Pages and everything have ruined the industry by allowing scammers to advertise. The scammers pay $50 to $60 for each click on Google, and they can afford that because they're ripping old ladies off for $800 on a job that a real locksmith would charge $70 to $120 for.
That's crazy. And Shiraz, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, is saying why not go mobile?
Go mobile with an app. It's something that we've considered, and we probably will do an app down the line. Apps are expensive to develop, and also we don't really see people keeping a standalone locksmith app on their phone very long. Not right now. We think it'll be more relevant when we offer more services than just locksmiths, which we plan to do.
You know the company Sensei and how you could just text anything to Sensei?
Yes, I don't know if Sensei. I use it regularly. I love Sensei. I use it regularly.
Yeah, I use Sensei every day. I used it this morning. So what Sensei is, it's a text number, and you can send it's Sensei. Is it sensei.it? SENSAY.IT, I think. Anyway, you could ask it anything. You say, need a sushi restaurant, need entrepreneurial advice, need a date, whatever it is. And then someone within the community writes back. And what I would think may be cool, what I love is that Sensei, you don't use a website, you don't use an app, you just text. And because in usually these lockout situations, you are with your phone. Yep. I know there's a ton of numbers that I've stored over time that are one-time use numbers, but they're there. So if maybe Lockaware was that text number, and then you had that short code, so whenever someone did get locked out, so all you marketed, it was store this number in your phone.
Yep.
That may be.
You can already do that on our website. If you visit lockaware.com right now and click the blue button, it'll download our contact file on your phone, which you can save. And you just need to remember when you need a locksmith not to go online and look for a locksmith, just go into your contact and type in locksmith, and we should already be there. And whether or not we're live in your area or not, this is a pledge that we're giving everybody. Spread awareness, spread our name to your friends and family. I don't care if they're in Missouri and they're locked out or where they are. We will help them find a good locksmith and avoid a locksmith scam.
And info reach you. Jody, and Jody is saying thank you. Oh no, you're saying thank you. Anyway, we have a couple more questions. I'm trying to keep it. Do you plan on integrating or partnering with any smart locks? And also, I want to welcome the 67 of you. It seems like Blab has us up on the homepage. Thank you very much, Blab, for your support of We Are LA Tech. Marty, do you plan on integrating or partnering with any smart locks?
Absolutely. In fact, we're already talking to some of the biggest lock manufacturers out there, like Kwikset and Allegion, which is the parent company of Schlage, Assa Abloy, which is a parent company for many, many, many smaller lock companies. There's a lot of industry support for what we're doing. They see it as really important.
And I think Jody was asking what the spelling of sensei was, and you got that down. So thank you for doing that. I want to take this opportunity real quick while I have everybody's attention to really thank Blab. Blab is incredible. They were really supportive of LA Tech entrepreneurs getting together at their headquarters in San Francisco. And we had an incredible mixer where great people who had moved to San Francisco from LA, and they haven't been able to connect because life gets really busy. And so we had a really great LA spirit feeling in the Bay Area, thanks to Blab. And Blab also so supportive of us having this weekly show on their network, getting to meet LA Tech entrepreneurs, engineers, and amazing influencers who are really making this city a top city for the LA Tech for the tech ecosystem in general. Marty, what are your next steps for LockAware?
Well, our next steps are getting our technology platform built, which will facilitate our onboarding and dispatching processes. We're actually talking to co-founder and CTO at one of the largest auto insurance claims processors in the country, and he's built kind of a ticketing and dispatch system for auto insurance companies and their claims adjusters, which is very similar to the type of technology that we need. And this guy might be coming aboard as our CTO pretty soon. So
And everyone tuning in right now, I know a lot of you are new to the show right now. We are speaking with Marty from LockAware. It's about, it's 7 out of 10 do the stats again,
7
Marty,
in 10 locksmiths advertising online, including Yelp, Angie's List, Google, are fake. And they will charge you hundreds and hundreds of dollars for something that a real locksmith might charge you 70 to 100 for, which is basically an emergency lockout service, like a lockout or emergency rekey, something like that. They prey on the fact that you're in an emergency situation, in a vulnerable situation, to take advantage of you. And these guys have been putting real American locksmiths out of business. We're helping real American locksmiths take their industry back from these bad actors.
And yeah, I mean, it's terrible. And you're saying...
And protecting consumers from fraud at the same time, because a couple hundred bucks is better in your pocket than it is in the pocket of a scammer.
Oh, totally. And you're saying about a quarter of did you say a quarter of a million? No, how many people every day?
Emergency calls for locksmith service in America each day. So not something that you think about, but it will eventually happen to you that you need a locksmith, and I highly recommend that you save our number before that happens.
Yeah, and so right now, if someone wanted to get your information, they would go to lockaware.com, and then all the information they need is right there.
Yep, I just put it in the message.
And Marty also put it on the side. Now, if I know there's 80 amazing people watching right now, but this is a conversation about all of us together. So if one of you does want to jump in before we wrap up and take the open seat to ask Marty any questions you have, feel free to do so before we wrap up. Marty, what would you say are one of the main benefits of growing your startup in Los Angeles?
I would say that it's definitely been connecting with all the wonderful people who make up the LA Tech ecosystem, like Stubbs Alderton and Markleys, who run the Pre-Accelerator program that we're a part of, like US Bree.
And what is the Pre-Accelerator exactly?
The Pre-Accelerator is a program for clients of Stubbs Alderton and Markleys, which is a law firm, a business law firm. Scott Alderton famously represented Skype. They also represented Beats by Dre. They represent Riot Games, the guys behind League of Legends. So, they're a really robust and powerful law firm with a lot of connections. And when we decided to start this company, we actually didn't know anything about tech. We didn't know anyone in tech, and just joining the Pre-Accelerator and, attending their events and allowing them to help us network has really opened the doors. I mean, I met you through the Pre-Accelerator when you interviewed the CEO of ZipRecruiter here, Ian Siegel.
Yeah, that was a great day.
Yeah.
It was great. And Jody asked about LockAware. Do you sell a product or service? And we were talking about that a little bit earlier. So can you just fill everybody in that's tuned in? We're just about almost at 90 people sharing in this conversation with us, which is really exciting. So LockAware, how does LockAware protect people from shady locksmiths?
Right. So it's a product and a service. I guess it would be more of a service, but what we're doing is essentially the same thing that Uber or Airbnb does. When you're looking for a person to ride with or a person to stay with, they help verify that person, make sure they're a good person, process the payment. There's a review system in place. It increases your safety in that transaction. So that's exactly, and technically those, they're called marketplaces. So we are a marketplace for businesses and consumers to connect with pre-verified, human-verified locksmith and security professionals.
That's awesome. And Marty, how can people stay in touch with you?
Anybody can reach me at marty@lockaware.com.
Awesome. And on Twitter?
On Twitter,
Rainmaker.
There we go.
We're getting the typing in. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Marty, thank you so much for consistently being supportive of We Are LA Tech. I'm so excited about LockAware. I'm excited that our paths crossed and I can know you. And thanks for making time to be on the We Are LA Tech Blab show. We do this show every week to meet new LA tech entrepreneurs, and it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Blab. So huge, huge, huge heartfelt hug of gratitude to Blab to being part of this journey along with us. I'll see you.
Bye.